All right, New York Giants fans, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. It's gonna be a Tuesday. Camp is rolling along. We're chugging along. We're getting there. We're the little engine that could. We're climbing up that hill. We're climbing up that proverbial playoff hill. I don't really want to. I'm not going to get too much of what's going on in camp. Joe Judge had the entire defense run a lap today. Joe Looney, who just signed with the team, kind of came out and said he hasn't run laps since high school. And, he thought it was fun. It's always fun when you're winning. And like I said, in preseason, everyone starts the season undefeated. But I've said this a million times. I think Coach Yost said it best.
There's a fine line between tough and crazy, and you're flirting with it.
You're flirting with it, Joe. You're flirting with it, man. If you don't win, you are going to lose this team quickly. There is a difference between discipline and professionalism, and you need to find that line. Joe Judge also came out and said that Saquon Barkley is making headway with his rehab, which is fine. No dates are given. No dates are going to be given. I mean, I still don't think he's going to be back till about week 3, the earliest. Could it be even later than that? Maybe. But I think it's, I think if you're going to prognosticate where he's going to come back, I'm thinking week 3. So, I mean, that's not terrible. I did want to talk about Dave Gettleman for a minute. I'm not a Dave Gettleman guy. I should rephrase that. I don't hate Dave Gettleman. I don't think he's done a terrible job. I don't think he's done a great job, but his last free agent class looks really good. His one that's coming in now looks really good. He's got some draft choices that look like they could be something. If Daniel Jones turns the corner and becomes the quarterback of the future, then it's a win for Dave Gettleman. But I was thinking about it the other day. It's his late round draft choices that are really going to make his mark, that are really going to build this team. And there's some guys that, like I said, if you go back to his first draft in 18, it's interesting that everyone in his first draft is on a team, an NFL roster. Kyle Lauletta, RJ McIntosh, BJ Hill, Lorenzo Carter, Will Hernandez, and Barkley are all on NFL rosters. McIntosh is still with us. Kyle Lauletta, I forget where he's at. He's in Philadelphia, I think. BJ Hill's with us. Carter's with us. Hernandez and Barkley. And was that a great draft? No. Because we don't know what Will Hernandez still is going to be in year 4. Carter, we don't know. BJ Hill is a role player, a bit player. He's a backup. But it's the draft in 19, 20, and potentially 21 in the later rounds where I think it may make a difference for the Giants. Now, I consider anything really after the 3rd round a later round pick. Because once you get past round 3, you're not overly upset or optimistic if you cut a guy. If you cut a 5th round draft choice, you're not like, oh my God, we cut a 5th round draft choice. It's not like you're cutting a 2nd or a 3rd. Then you get a little antsy. And if you look what Gettleman has done, he's kind of built the roster in some ways and with talent from the later rounds of the draft, especially in this 2020 draft. But if you look at his 19 draft, Darius Slayton's a 5th rounder. He had 98 receptions for 1,491 yards and 11 touchdowns in 2 years. Ryan Conley, we should never gotten rid of, but that's okay. But then you also have Julian Love, who is going to be a solid contributor on the team, who has been since 19. And he's a guy that, he plays a role on the team and he plays it well at times. I don't think he is the safety position. I do still think he should be moved into the slot corner, but we got a plethora of slot corners right now. But if you take, Darius and Love are 2 good later round picks that are filling spots in the Giant roster. Now, 2020 is where he's probably going to hit the most. You got Tay Crowder, who was taken in the 7th round, played 11 games last year with the injury, really came on the last 7-8 games of the year. I think he was a good pickup out of Georgia. I think it's interesting a lot of guys that we're talking about are going to be Georgia guys. I think TJ Brunson, I think he'll have a difficult time making the roster, But if he does, I think he'll be a solid roster-filling guy, contributor. Carter Coughlin, man. Carter Coughlin is a 7th-round draft choice. He may be something out of Minnesota. He may be a guy. Like I said, he showed his wares in Seattle. The last couple of games of the season, he showed that I think he has the speed and the ability to play linebacker. I don't think he's going to be an edge, but I think he can be I think he can be a linebacker. And then you even break it down to Cam Brown. I'm not big on tall linebackers, and I've said that a million times. But I think Cam could fill a role on this team. And again, he's a good guy to have on the team as a roster filler. And I don't mean roster filler as a bad way. I mean guys that you're not going out to free agency to get. I think Cam could play linebacker. I think he could also play defensive end at times. I think he could be, I don't think he's going to get I don't think he's going to get a ton of a rush out of him, but I think he can be a good a run stopper. And then you keep looking at his later round picks. Shane Lemieux, who was projected to be the starter at right guard. Left guard. Good. He may be a good solid pickup out of Oregon. He's dealing with the injury, but he'll be back in 2 weeks. When the team gets concerned when your 5th-round draft choice from a year ago comes out, you go out and sign another offensive lineman, he's got some type of cachet with the team. That the team wants to use him in some way and wants to keep him on the field. So you got to look at it that as well. And then you look at Darnay Holmes. Darnay Holmes started out like gangbusters, kind of tailed off at the end. Also had to deal with the injury. I was never a big fan of the pick out of UCLA. But as a slot guy, he showed potential, he showed talent, and he showed a knack for being on the roster. And I think he will maybe be on the roster. And then if you take a look at his 21 picks, I don't know if anyone knows what Smith is going to be because he hasn't even gotten on the field yet. And we don't know about Brightwell yet. But I think Williams is looking like a player. 6th-round draft choice at Oklahoma State. He's looking like he's a player. And like I said, if you break down Gettleman's drafts, and it's not just going through people that are with the Giants, but people that are still in the league, you have to count let's see, how many players did he draft so far, Gettleman? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, there's the music. I was only up to 17 and the music comes roaring in there. We're not going to have the show right there, but you know what? We're going to lower that. So if you take a look how many guys Gettleman has drafted, and I'm not even going to count them all. That's too much work. Let's do it this way. We got the 6 there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. He drafted 26 guys counting from 2020 to 2018. And right now, out of those 26 guys, only one isn't in the league. That's Chris Williamson. I mean, if you look at Jerry Reese's records, man, he's batting 1,000 over here. So it's interesting, to say the least, that Gettleman, for all of his flaws and all the crap that even I have given him about his late round draft choices, because I even said 2020 is more of a draft of potential talent, not immediate talent. That, like I said, that talent may convert. And like I said, if Matt from Connecticut turns corner and can be a solid tackle, I still don't think he's going to be a solid starter this year. But I do think next year he may potentially be a guy that can come in and be a starter, a tackle. And then you'd be looking at all of his drafts going, you know what, these aren't horrible. And it's in the later rounds, like I said, after round 3, where I really think that he is going to show his wares. Because if you count after round 3, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys right now between 19 and 20 who are going to probably be on this roster and actually be contributors. And I think that is something we need to talk about when we talk about Gettleman. The problem with Gettleman is you either hate him or you either love him. But if he wins, he's never going to get the credit deserves. And if they lose, he's going to take too much of the blame. That's really all it is. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, maybe subscribe, ring that bell, you know what it means. That'd be awesome.